Hi guys, welcome to Unit 6, Lesson 6, Distance and the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, so you can use the Pythagorean Theorem to find different distances, especially if you can make a right triangle. Okay, so I figured the quickest way for us to get into this is just go straight into examples, and because there's not necessarily any new notes, we're just using the same formula in a different format. Okay. So when you get into your lesson, you're going to see a bunch of graphs and things like that. That's totally okay. All right, and even maps on there as well. So this first one, it's from one of the maps in your practice. I couldn't write the map in my notebook and stuff like that. So I just took the distances and I made these like little dots to kind of show that's where like the grids are on it. Okay, so the question asked, find the length between B and F. So to do that, notice like that's this angled distance right here, right? That's that right there. Okay. What I do know is I know like how far up I can go from B up to the same level as F, and then how far over. So I know that one of my legs is equal to 1, because it was just like one little section on the graph, or on the map, however you want to think about it. And then the other one, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections. So one of my legs is equal to 1, one of my legs is equal to 9. So now that I know that, then I can find my hypotenuse. And I know that this is a right angle, right? Because this went completely vertical and this went completely horizontal. So there's my right angle. So then I can go ahead and set up a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, a is equal to 1, so I've got 1 squared plus, and then 9 squared, and c squared. That's what I'm looking for. Well, 1 squared, that's equal to 1 times 1 plus, and then we've got 9 times 9 still equal to c squared, right? And you might be able to skip this step if you're good to go with understanding exponents. Awesome. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so add those together, you get down to 82 equals c squared. Well, if you remember from my last video, right, we got to do the opposite operation in order to get c by itself. The opposite of squaring a number is square rooting a number. So I'll square root both sides. That'll cancel over on the right. So I'm just left with c. And then the square root of 82. Okay, so with that, then I'll find my square root. I've got 82. Gives me 9, and I didn't write down what it said to round to. And I should have, but we can say 9.055, right? And then depending on how it's worded in your practice, you could either say that this rounds to 9.1, or you could say 9.06. So this would be if it rounds to the tenths place. This is if it rounds to the hundredths. Okay? So hopefully that helps, and once you get to it in your practice, then that'll make a little more sense too. Okay, so let's see here. This next one, number 2, find the distance between 2, 3 and -4, -9. Well, the best thing to do, for me at least, when I see things like this, is to set up a grid. All right, let's go ahead and set it up. If we're looking for the distance between them, right? So let's see. I have to go all the way to -9. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll do the same thing going up. Oh, what did I do? That's 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now that I have my grid set up, I'm going to go ahead and place these on there. So 2, 3, all right, starting from my origin, I'm going to go to the right 2 and up 3. There's one of them. And then I have -4, -9. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 back, and then down 9. Okay, so I'm looking for the distance between those two. Let me pull up a different color to help us see everything. Right, this is what I'm looking for. But with that, what I can do is really I've created, or I can create, a right triangle. Okay, so with that, we can create a right triangle because then we can track, okay, well, from this point to right above the other point, how far is that distance? And then how far does it go down? And that's my right angle. Okay, so that's what's going to give me my a squared plus b squared equals c squared, so that I can find my hypotenuse. So from that we can say, let's see, it goes over 1, 2, and then another 4. So this would be a length of 6. And then I know that this part was 9, but then it went up 3. So that would be a length of 12. Okay, and then I'm still looking for C, which is my hypotenuse. Okay, the other thing that you can do, and I can show you that in a minute, what I did was I took the first point and I subtracted like the next x, and that's what got me this distance. That gets me my 6, right? And then I did the same thing with the next one with my y's, right, because those are my vertical values. I did 3 minus -9, and that gave me positive 12. So either one of those methods can work, but I love having a visual when I'm working in math. So that's one reason why I wanted to make sure that I drew that, right, to show you that it is a right triangle. But anyway, let's get into building our formula. Okay, so I've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're looking for c squared. A, let's see, I had 6. We could say 6 squared plus, and then we have 12 squared. Well, I know that 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is equal to 36. 12 squared is equal to 144 because 12 times 12 is 144. Add those together and we get to 180 equals c squared. Well, I still need to get c by itself. Right now I have c squared, so I have to square root both sides. So those cancel out on the right, and I'm left with c. And then coming back to my calculator, and if you don't have a calculator, you can even Google. Just put in scientific calculator into Google, and it'll pull one up for you right on the screen. It's pretty cool. So square root of 180 gives me 13, and you could either say 0.42 or 13.4, depending on if it asks you to round to the nearest tenths or hundredths. Okay? All right, number 3, this is from your quick check. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see better. So it says find the diagonal of the square. Find the diagonal of the square. So that's this right here, right? That's what I'm looking for. And notice when I put in the diagonal, I've created 2 right triangles that are identical to each other. So with that, really all I need to do is I need to think to myself, all right, well, let's see, one of my legs is 2. Well, and if it's a square, that means both my legs should be 2, right? Because this one is 2. And they're equal to each other, right? And that it's that distance here, which is 2. Here's that one also. Okay? And then we can build our formula, and then we'll find our hypotenuse, or the diagonal of this square. Well, these are the same, right? Both of my legs were equal to 2, so I can say 2 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. Well, 2 squared is equal to 4, so that means I have 4 plus 4 equals c squared. 4 plus 4 equals 8 equals c squared. Square root both sides. That cancels over there on the right. And then now I just need to find the square root of 8, which I'm going to go ahead and do on my calculator, right? So square root 8 equals 2.828. And again, depending on what it asks for, if it asks for you to round to the nearest tenth, right, we could say that 2.8 is our final answer. Or if it asks us to go to the hundredths place, we would say 2.83, because I would look to the right of it, and that's 5 or more, so the 2 gets bumped up to a 3. Okay, and that'll just depend on how the question asks you to answer. All right, as always, reach out if you need extra support, but I certainly hope this helps.